Hello, Hoosier fans, Hoosier haters, and everyone in between. This is the Crimson Coliseum podcast. And on today's episode is the last episode before my conclusion episode tomorrow of the Six Squires series, where we're going to be talking about Mike Woodson, the current head coach for IU men's basketball, and just some preview, not preview, some insight on Woodson before he came to Indiana. As a coach, he's got to start in the NBA as the coach for the Atlanta Hawks, where he coached from 2004 to 2010, where he's 206 and 286. But a lot of that was like his early seasons where the Hawks weren't that great. And then after that, he spent a couple of years in New York coaching the Knicks from 2012 to 2014, including a win in the playoffs, getting a playoff win, series win. And then after that, he's been an assistant bouncing around for the Knicks, Clippers, and different teams around the NBA. But also, he's the only coach post Bob Knight to be an Indiana basketball player, where he played from 1976 to 1980, and he had basically 20 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 2 assists. And on March 28th, 2021, after they fired Archie Miller, there were a lot of rumors about who was gonna be the new head coach. Some people wanted Brad Stevens, other people wanted other people, but Mike Woodson was selected, and he's the first coach to have a connection to Bob Knight, being one of his former players, since Mike Davis. So heading into 2021-22 season, this was my sophomore year of college and the first time I'd actually be able to go to games. Um, Departed the program was Al Durham, who transferred to Providence. Armand Franklin transferred to Virginia. Jerome Hunter transferred to Xavier. And Cooper Bybee just graduated. And the newcomers, Xavier Johnson transferred from Pittsburgh, Miller Kopp transferred from Northwestern, Michael Durr transferred from South Florida. Yeah, Parker Stewart transferred from UT Martin, and then Tamar Bates and Logan Duncan were both ranked freshmen. Tamar Bates ranked 27, and Duncan was ranked 73. And now heading into this season, there were a lot of debate on like how Indiana's going to do with the new head coach and a lot of transfers, which seems to be very much the trend with Woodson, is a lot of transfers. That's like what he likes to get, is a lot of experienced transfers. So to start out, Trace Jackson Davis led the way this season, averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. Was on the All Big Ten second team, All Big Ten All Conference tournament team, and the Big Ten All Defensive team. Xavier Johnson, in his first season with the Hoosiers, the senior guard, averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. Race Thompson, in his senior season, averaged 11 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 1.4 assists. Parker Stewart, the junior guard, averaged 6 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. And Miller Kopp, in his the senior forward, averaged 6 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 1 assist. Off the bench, Jordan Geronimo in his sophomore season averaged 4 points, 4 rebounds, and zero point 0.3 assists. Um, Tamar Bates in his freshman season, the guard averaged 4 points, 1.3 rebounds, zero point 0.6 assists. Rob Finney in his senior season averaged 4.5 points, 2 rebounds, and 1.7 assists. And Trey Galloway in his sophomore season averaged 5.5 points, 1.7 rebounds, 1.8 assists. And on the season, Indiana finished 21 and 14, 9 and 11 in the Big Ten, which is good for ninth. Defeated Michigan 74-69 in the second round of the Big Ten tournament. Defeated Illinois 65-63 in the quarterfinals, but lost to Iowa 77 to 80 in the semifinals. And that tournament run got Indiana to be number 12 in the East and play in the first four, where they defeated Wyoming 66 to 58, but lost to number 5 St. Mary's 82 to 53 in the first round of the tournament. And Indiana absolutely got screwed over. I don't think that season Indiana should have been in the first four, and I don't think that. And with that whole Dayton trip, the plane was the wrong size because they probably expected Wyoming to win, and yeah, it was just a whole cluster. It was just bad, and like it was delayed for 4 hours, and they were just like, tired. I remember that whole season going down. Like it was a good season. So the best and worst games of this season. Win over number 13 Ohio State, 67-51 at home. A win over number 4 Purdue, 68-65 at home. And a win at Maryland, 68-55. We're going to talk about that Purdue win very shortly. And their worst games, a loss versus Michigan, 62-80 after the Purdue game. So that trend is still happening where they have a just a crash out after a good win. Loss versus Rutgers, 63-66, and a loss at Northwestern, 51-59. And January 2nd, 2020, Indiana defeats number 4 Purdue for the first win against Purdue since the 2015-16 season. Yeah, Archie though never beat Purdue, which is interesting. But a lot of turnover on the roster after last season, and it's probably the second best first season for a head coach since Bob Knight retired. The only other one being better is Kelvin Sampson. A lot of turnover at the top of that roster, but there's a lot of room to grow too. And I actually had my first game with the Big Red Basketball Band. Um, Big Red Basketball Band here. So I'm gonna check the schedule to make sure. 1 second. I believe it was the Wisconsin game. The Wisconsin game at home was the first one. Oh wait, no. I think it was actually the Eastern. It was like one of the um non-conference games was my first game here. Um, just trying to remember. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I know I was at the Wisconsin game at home where we barely lost in February. So, yeah, heading into 2022-23, departing the program, Rob Finney graduated. Michael Durr transferred to Central Florida. Parker Stewart transferred back to UT Martin, and Christian Lander transferred to Western Kentucky. Newcomers this season, Hogan Orbaugh and Sean Burke both walked onto the program. Jalen Hood Schifino, freshman number 20. Malik Renew, freshman number 26. Caleb Banks, freshman number 96. And CJ Gunn is an unranked freshman. So this is a good recruiting class. This is a really good recruiting class. And heading into the season, Trace Jackson Davis in his senior season, 21 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. All Big Ten first team, all Big Ten all defensive team, and Big Ten all conference tournament team. Jalen Hood Schifino in his freshman season, 13 and a half points, 4 rebounds, 3.7 assists. All Big Ten third team, Big Ten freshman of the year, and all Big Ten freshman team. Miller Kopp in his senior season, 8 points, 2.5 rebounds, 1.2 assists. Race Thompson in his senior season, 8.4 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 1 assist. Trey Galloway in his junior season, 6.7 points, 3 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. Malik Renew in his freshman season, the forward averaged 6 points, 3.7 rebounds, and zero point 0.8 assists. Tamar Bates in his sophomore season averaged 6 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 1.1 assists. Jordan Geronimo in his junior season averaged 4.2 points, 2.4 rebounds, zero point 0.3 assists. And Xavier Johnson in his redshirt senior season averaged 10 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 5 assists, but only played in 11 games due to injury. And this was a much better season. This is a good improvement over last season. Finished 23-12, 12-8 in the Big Ten, which is good for second. Defeated Maryland 70-60 in the Big Ten quarterfinals and lost to Penn State 77-73 in the Big Ten semifinals. And they were number 4 in the Midwest in the NCAA tournament. Defeated Kent State 71-60 in the first round, but lost to number 5 Miami 85-69 in the second round. Could not rebound to save their lives. Best and worst games. Best game was a win. Best games were win against number 1 Purdue 79-74. I was at that game. Win at Purdue at number 5 Purdue 79-71. You love a Purdue sweep at the first time Mike Woodson wins at Purdue. And it went against number 18 Carolina 77-65, and where I was at too, and I got this shirt from it. The Hoosier Whiteout there. It was really fun playing on the court for that. For the pregame. But it's a massive step up over the last 4 years. Making a second round of the tournament for the first time since 2016 and sweeping Purdue for the first time since the 2013 season. but there's going to be a lot of turnover this season. A lot of the big names are going to leave this season, but I'm going to stick to the season real fast. I actually got to go to the Big Ten and NCAA tournament with this team with the band. It was a fantastic experience. Chicago was great, and Albany was fun too. Even though it got four nosebleeds, that's a story for another time. But I really enjoyed going on those tournament travel, and it was you can't ask for anything better. Um, well, yeah. But the worst games of the season was a loss at Rutgers, 48-63 after the North Carolina win, a loss versus Iowa, 68-90 after the second Purdue win, and a loss against Northwestern, 83-84. So yeah, this is a good season, pretty good season. It's my junior year, heading into my senior year. It's going to be a lot of turnover because, yikes, a lot of turnover. Um, but who knows? Maybe the expectation's going to be a little lower, right? Right? Heading into last season, departing the departing is Trace Jackson Davis, who was in the second round, pick 57 to the Golden State. He's now the starter for Golden State at center. Jalen Hood-Schifino, first round, pick 17, the Los Angeles Lakers. He's been in South Bay. He's been injured, sadly. I wish he get some run going. Race Thompson graduated, but I think he's with the G League right now with the Memphis Hustle. Nathan Childress graduated. Michael Shipp graduated. Tamar Bates transferred to Missouri, and Duncombe medically retired. Newcomers: Peyton Sparks transferred from Ball State. Khalil Ware transferred from Oregon. Anthony Walker transferred from Miami. Mackenzie Mbako was a freshman, number 10 in the country. Gabe Cupps, Ian Stevens, James Gudis, Ja'Kai Newton, Jordan Rayford were all freshmen, and Jackson Creel walked on. So lineup for this season, starters wise, Khalil Ware led the way, 16 points, 10 rebounds, 1.5 assists. Was all Big Ten second team from the media and third in coaches, and all Big Ten defensive team. Malik Renew in his sophomore season, the forward averaged 15.4 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Mackenzie Mbako in his freshman season, the forward averaged 12.2 points, 4 rebounds, and 1.3 assists. Was the co-rookie of the year and all Big Ten rookie team. Trey Galloway in his senior season averaged 10.6 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Gabe Cupps in his freshman season averaged 3 points, 1.8 rebounds, 1.2 assists. Anthony Walker in his senior season the forward averaged 5 points, 2.3 rebounds, and 1 assist. Xavier Johnson in his super redshirt senior season averaged 7.6 points, 2.6 rebounds, 2.8 assists, but only played 20 games due to injury. CJ Gunn in his sophomore season averaged 4 points, 1 rebound, and half an assist. Caleb Banks in his sophomore season averaged 3 rebounds, well, 2.5 points, 1.8 rebounds, zero point 0.8 assists. In the season, Indiana finished 19 and 14, 10 and 10 in the Big Ten, which is good for sixth. Defeated Penn State 61-59 in the second round. Thank you, Anthony Leal. Lost to Nebraska 93-66 in the quarterfinal. And the best and worst games for this season: a win at Maryland 83-78, a win at Ohio State 75-74, and a win versus Michigan State 65-64. All those were around the end of the season. And then the worst was a loss against Northwestern at home 72-76, a loss against Nebraska at home 70-85, and a loss at Penn State 74-83. I think all those were like in a 4 game stretch near the end of the season. But with only 3 guys playing all of the games, at the starting point guard only playing 20 games and started 13, the injuries were a big issue with this team. And a lot of the roster turnover in regards to the way this team played, a 19-win season isn't the worst in the world. And I know everyone is upset about it, but oh yeah, it wasn't actually. Wait, no, one more. 28% of minutes played and 24% of scoring returned from the previous season. If you don't expect some sort of drop off, I don't know what to tell you. And yes, this team had talent, but the injuries added too weren't great. And the fans calling for Mike Woodson's head to be fired, it's a dumb take. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's dumb. If you're going to fire a guy 3 years in the season after winning made the tournament twice and won games in both times he made the tournament, and won games in all three of the Big Ten tournaments. I don't know what to tell you. Heading into this season, it's more roster turnover. Xavier Johnson, Anthony Walker graduated. CJ Gunn transferred to DePaul. Caleb Banks transferred to Tulane. Peyton Sparks transferred back to Ball State. Khalil Ware went to the NBA draft and was first round pick 17 to Miami Heat. Newcomers, Bryson Tucker, freshman. I usually get my stats from B-Ball Reference, and they don't have this season's rankings put up for. I couldn't tell, didn't because I bet Bryson Tucker's ranked. Miles Rice transferred from Washington State. Kenan Carlisle transferred from Stanford. Omar Ballo transferred to Arizona. Luke Goody transferred to Illinois. Langdon Hatton transferred from Bellarmine, and Dallas James transferred from South Carolina State. And heading into this season, starting wise, here's what I think. Miles Rice, redshirt sophomore guard. Kanan Carlisle, redshirt sophomore guard. Mackenzie Mbako, sophomore forward. Malik Renew, a junior forward. Omar Ballo, redshirt super senior center, and he was on the preseason All Big Ten team. Trey Galloway, super senior guard. Gabe Cupp, sophomore guard. Luke Goody, senior forward, and Bryson Tucker, freshman guard. And Omar Ballo is the center for the team. And ranking wise, we open up ranking 17. And we just had an exhibition game yesterday, a win at number 12 Tennessee, 66-62. And overall, it's what you want to see in an exhibition game. There's some good, there's some stuff to improve on. 4 of I think 18, 19 from 3 is definitely not great. But for it being the first exhibition game of the season on the road, I'm not going to put too much stuff into it. I think we forced like 12 to 15 turnovers. I can't remember the total. I can look it up real fast. But I was impressed with Miles Rice. Definitely. I was definitely impressed with Miles Rice. Um, that's what you like to see from him. 20 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. Mackenzie Mbako had 2 threes, had 12 points, 2 rebounds. Ballo had 11 rebounds. Renew had 21 points, 8 rebounds in 33 minutes played. Like that's what you like to see. Um, I mean, it's just and it's you're gonna you're gonna have to be patient with this team right now, just because new season has begun and all that stuff. But I'm really impressed with Miles Rice's penetration skills and just how he's able to get through the knife of the defense, get through the defense. He might be an All Big Ten, at least second team player. But overview on Mike Woodson in his 3 seasons was 63-40, 31-29 in conference play. Big Ten tournament record, I believe, is 4-3. NCAA tournament record, he's 2-2. He has made the second round in 2022 and has 2 NCAA tournament appearances in 2021 and 22. And my opinion, his best players, his main starting 5. At guard, Jalen Hood Schifino in his 1 season averaged 13.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. All Big Ten third team, Big Ten freshman of the year, and all Big Ten freshman team. At the other guard spot is Trey Galloway. In his 3 seasons, averaged 8 points, 2.5 rebounds, 3 assists. At the forward spots is Malik Renew. In his 2 seasons, averaged 10.6 points, 4.6 rebounds, 1.7 assists. Race Thompson in his 2 seasons averaged 10 points, 6.4 rebounds, 1.3 assists. And at the center spot is Trace Jackson Davis. In his 2 seasons averaged 19.5 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists. All Big Ten second team at 21-22. Two-time All Big Ten Conference Tournament team. Two-time All Big Ten All Defensive team. All Big Ten first team at 22-23. And 22-23 first team consensus All-American. And going into the Mike Woodson, the civil war that's going on in this fan base about Mike Woodson. Here's my opinion on it. We can't fire a guy after 3 seasons. If you have that short of leash, you're not gonna get anyone that you like. If you fire your desired coach too early, the only coaches you're going to get are the coaches that can afford that are willing to take that risk, and not many of the desired coaches are going to want to take that risk. Like it just is what it is. As someone who wants to be a basketball coach, if I see a team that I may be interested in coaching fire a guy after 3 seasons and he made the NCAA tournament 2 years, I'm not gonna go there because if he's like he was a well liked alumni and he gets fired after 3 seasons because of one bad season, and it wasn't even that bad of a season. 19 wins isn't that bad of a season. Yes, it missed the tournament, but it wasn't that bad. If you fire him after that season, then what is going to be the leash on me as a coach? I'm going to have no leash, basically. It's either make the tournament or I'm fired after the first year instead of the 2 extra years. And he made the tournament twice. If you fire a guy after missing the tournament one time, you set the precedent that they have to make the tournament every single year they're head coach or they're gone. And that is pressure that is should not be a thing. Yes, it's Indiana basketball, but this is not the Indiana basketball of old, people. It's just not. The Indiana basketball old died in 2008 when the sanctions happened. That's when it died. This is a completely different program. That's just my opinion on that. Anyways, make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share on all platforms, and that's gonna be it for today. We'll have a conclusion tomorrow. And I want to ask you, how do you feel about Mike Woodson's tenure?